Before we get started, you want to grab a pen and pad because I promise this video is going to change your life. What's up, divas and gents? It's Nikki Leshawn and you're tuned in to my channel, Hey Nikki. So, you want to get into nursing school but you have a crappy GPA. Let's say you have a 2.5, a 2.8, maybe even a 2.3, who knows, but whatever it is, it's less than what majority of schools would consider for their nursing program. The first thing you need to know is what are the requirements for the nursing schools that you are considering, and what is your current situation? Everybody's situation is different. So obviously, if you're watching this video, something that we all have in common is a low overall GPA. So what you need to do is find nursing programs that consider other things more important than your overall GPA. Duh, Nikki, how do I do that? Okay, you're going to look for schools that focus primarily on your prerequisite GPA. Your prerequisite GPA is the GPA where they consider only the classes that are needed for their particular nursing program. Your prerequisite GPA is usually just about 5 or 6 classes, which consists of anatomy 1 and 2, microbiology, college algebra, either sociology or psychology, and English 1. Some schools don't require English 1 as a prereq. So what you want to do is look at your prerequisite GPA, and 9 times out of 10 your prerequisite GPA will be higher than your regular GPA. I'm going to dive further into that in a moment. Another thing you want to look at is find schools that do grade forgiveness. Grade forgiveness is where you take a class and let's say you don't do very well in it and then you take it again. So they will either consider your second grade and completely cancel out the first grade, or they will merge the 2 grades together and take an average. So hypothetically speaking, let's say you get a C in college algebra, retake it again, get an A. They will either only consider the A and not consider the C, or they'll merge the 2 together, take an average, and you will have what will be considered as a B for that particular class. Another thing you want to look at is, does this particular university or college accept my credits? Usually, choosing a university that does not accept your credits is not a good thing, but in the situation where you don't want your credits to count because you didn't do well in those classes, finding a school that will not take your transfer credits and therefore will zero out or cancel out that particular class and give you the opportunity to take it again is a good thing. How do you implement these strategies for your particular situation? Well, I'm going to use myself as that example. I got my overall GPA after completing my undergrad degree at Florida State University was a 2.8. And it's low not because I am incapable of doing the coursework, but my freshman year I partied a lot and I took a lot of the study habits that I had from high school into college. Therefore my GPA suffered. I made majority C's throughout my entire freshman year. I got an F in one class that I probably shouldn't have been taking because it was an upper level class, as well as a D in some Latin American history studies humanities class. Something, again, I didn't even need. However, my prerequisite GPA was also not that great. I had a 2.95. I had 2 A's, 2 B's, and 2 C's. I had an A in AMP1. I had a B in AMP2. I had a B in prokaryotic microbiology, a C in English 1, a C in college algebra, and an A in psychology. I initially considered going to a 4-year university. However, their overall GPA, their overall minimum GPA to even apply was a 3.0, which I did not have. So I spoke with some of the advisors there and they told me that I should probably consider going to my community college. I went to my community college and spoke with the advisors there, and then they told me I should probably pick a totally different career choice. However, I'm very determined and I didn't want to do that. So I started looking at some private universities that where their overall GPA was significantly low. They only required a minimum of a 2.5 GPA, and they really didn't care what your GPA for your prerequisites were as long as you got a C or better. However, Anybody can get into these schools if you're willing to pay the $40, $50, or $60,000 of tuition that they require to get your bachelor's of nursing there. Who's gonna pay that? I'm not gonna pay that. So my community college, after doing research about the 3 steps that I've told you earlier in the video, they only look at their prerequisite GPA, and they only look at first attempt classes. First attempt classes means they do not do grade forgiveness. However, the majority of my classes that I took from Florida State did not transfer over to my local community college here, which I thought was weird. But however, because I was pre-med, I took a lot of upper level classes that were harder than the classes that they actually wanted. So therefore, where initially I had 2 B's, 2 C's, and 2 A's, which made a 2.95 prerequisite GPA, a lot of those credits did not count, and I was able to retake them at my community college and take the right class, and then I ended up with all A's and 1 C, making my prerequisite GPA a 3.71. So my community college here only looks at your T-score and your prerequisite GPA. So now my T-score is really high, and my prerequisite GPA is not only high, but it's competitive enough that will ensure that I get into the program. Let's rewind a little bit. So initially I went to go to my state university, which is University of South Florida here in Tampa, and they told me that I was not qualified to apply to the program, which initially I wasn't. However, my community college here has a concurrent program with the state university where you can apply to graduate with your bachelor's right after you graduate with your associates, meaning that while I'm taking my core nursing classes at my community college, I'm also going to be dual enrolled at USF, which is my state college here, taking online my online BSN classes. So when I graduate from my associates in nursing, I will literally only have 1 semester left of online classes at my local state university, and then I will be graduating with my bachelor's of nursing as well. Doing it this way saved me tens of thousands of dollars. With doing the community college first and then finishing up at my 4-year university, I'm only going to be spending about $13,000 for my whole entire nursing degree. Whereas if I stuck with going to a private sector school, I would have been out $50,000, $60,000 just for a bachelor's of nursing. So again, it is possible. If I can do it, you can do it. The things that you need to do, recapping, is find out which schools have grade forgiveness. Most importantly, you want to narrow out the schools that will only look at your prerequisite GPA over your overall GPA. They don't care about all the other classes you took. They want to know, are you smart enough to handle the science classes that lead into nursing school? And another thing that can possibly help you, because it helps me, is look into schools that may not necessarily even take the classes that you took. Now, for those who want to get into nursing school that have a low GPA but don't necessarily have a science background, meaning you've never taken anatomy or microbiome or any type of science class, the world is literally your oyster. You now have the opportunity to take these prereqs, make straight A's, make A's and B's, and have a high GPA from the jump. And you can get into almost any nursing program that conducts itself in that particular manner. I really hope I shed some light on how to get into nursing school with a really low GPA. I wish I didn't mess up in undergrad the first go around. However, we can't undo the past. All we can do is move forward. So if you know that you are intellectually capable of making these grades, and if you can implement the tips and tricks that I just told you to how to beat the system and still get into a good nursing program, then kudos to you. Wait, I have one more thing to tell you. I'm going to brag on myself a little bit. At the time of recording this video, I have actually completed my first semester of nursing school and I made straight A's. So for all those who saying that if you can't have the GPA to get into nursing school to begin with, then you don't need to be in there. Peace out. Hi everyone, I really hope you found this video helpful. Please do not be down, do not be discouraged. This is actually the first video of my nursing school series, so hit that subscribe button, turn that bell on so you get my notifications because I have so much more to tell you.